so sad. I almost don't want to say goodbye to all of you. This has been quite an experience, quite a journey in the planning, but this is something that we hope is becoming a template for something we plan to continue to do. Bringing the community together is something that's really important to us. All of you are important to us because you are what makes the innovation ecosystem work. Well, I said it earlier this morning that there is no ecosystem without the people. You can have money, you can have buildings, and you have structures and programs, but none of those things work without the commitment of people who understand the journey, who are committed, and are willing to work together to bring things about, to make new things happen. So my closing remarks are, thank you so much for coming, for being a part of this. I want to say a couple of words just to talk a little bit. My remarks are going to be very simple, just kind of announcements. On the inside page of your program, the inside cover, there's a map of the innovation ecosystem at Rensselaer. For those of you who are curious to know more about the inner workings of that, there's a website that you can go visit, do a little Prezi fly-through of the system and kind of see how we're structured, and if there's different ways that you want to connect with us, you can do that there on the RPI Hub. The RPI Innovation Hub is our cyber resource. This is the place where if anyone wants to engage with the Institute, wants to communicate with us, and wants to be a part of our program, there's a place where you can apply to be a mentor, to be a service provider. We're going to be doing some active work with the people that are actually applying and becoming part of our team. We're going to have a save the date email that's going to go out to everyone for January 22nd, which is going to be the first of 6 different resource forums. These resource forums is kind of hard to see, but those circles around the star are resource forums, which essentially we're going to be continuing the conversation we've started here today. And so BOSS is not just an annual event. Think of this as being a one-year conference where the whole breakout, the main conference session is one whole day where we come together and we have the speakers that talk about these different topics and share their insights, and we network and get together. But during the course of the year, we're going to have smaller events, more concentrated, going down deeper into these different topical areas and creating more opportunities to engage, to connect, and to educate each other and share our experiences. And we'll be sending out announcements to all of you who've registered. You're already on our mailing list, and we'll make sure that you're included and that you're advised and can attend. Also, some of you here, many of you here will be invited to be speakers at our next event. So we're going to actually find out from you what your story is, how it relates to our framework, and if it makes sense, we'll invite you to come to speak at one of the smaller events as well as perhaps at the annual event at the end of the year. What I'd like to do is also really to thank our sponsors. I mean, this is something that this event would not be possible without the contribution of the people who made it happen. First and foremost, I want to thank, actually I'm going to save you guys Buzz Solutions for my next slide, but I want to talk about CEG as our presenting sponsor. Bob Blackman did a great job closing out the conference and wrapping it up and kind of putting it all in perspective. The Severino Center for Technological Entrepreneurship provided programs, and they have an actual involved with the actual presentation, sponsoring the session for session 6. Spoken Word Solutions, KeyBank. We have Rensselaer Technology Park also provided sponsorship. But the active sponsors that we have that were providing valuable services also were YNN, which did media coverage for us, with thanks to all of Albany, who also actually helped promote the event. And then the volunteers that you guys see around, most of those volunteers have come from the Brown School, and we really, really appreciate the work that they've done. Last but not least, I'd like to thank the BOSS team. I just have to tell you guys that the folks from Buzz Media Solutions are just great. Thanks so much. Susan, let me say a little bit about each one. Susan Bardak has infinite energy and enthusiasm. I mean, talk about not ever having a moment where if we were tired or we were frustrated, Susan always had a positive attitude, kept us on track. And as you can imagine, a lot of details, a lot of specific things had to happen to pull this all together. And Susan's energy kept us going. Jeff Garankin, who is actually the Chief Strategy Officer over at the Buzz Media Solutions, always one with kind of the out there idea. Jeff is always, Jeff, you live outside the box. I mean, it's okay to be status quo sometime, but Jeff is always outside the box, bringing ideas to stretch us. And then there's Rick DeRico. Rick, out the box. We're going to do a little raffle in just a minute. But let me say a few words about Rick. Rick mentioned the fact that when I first came on board about a year and a half ago to join Rensselaer, that I actively avoided Rick. I mean, Rick would call, he was the reporter from working for the Business Review at the time, and I knew that, talking to reporters so early in the game was just going to get me in trouble because I was still new and I was still trying to figure out what's my strategy, what exactly am I going to do, and I had a plan, but, with Rensselaer and a lot of other institutions, you don't make public announcements for things that you're thinking about. You wait until they're kind of established fact, and there's a protocol to go through it. Taking this now, 180 degrees, where without Rick, this really would not have been possible. My thing was I created the framework for this event, designed the topics, identified the flow. But being that I'm so new in the region, I didn't know a lot of the CEOs and speakers. I mean, I heard about them incidentally. I'd read articles, but Rick had interviewed them. He talked to them. He knew them. And so when it came time to align the subject matter with those who had the best opportunity to speak on the subjects, Rick was really instrumental in doing that. And I want a special round of applause for Rick for helping make this happen. And last, but definitely not least, is April Rounds. And she's waving at me because I ran out of time. April, I think April is part cyborg. I mean, because she works continuously, tirelessly, and detail-oriented. I mean, I'm just amazed that the day has come off with very little hiccups. There are things that happened, but when you have really good planning, those of you don't know what happened because behind the scenes, there's so many different redundancies and systems set up to make things work out. And April is very detail-oriented, working continuously to bring this about. Great ideas, thinking outside the box, really to make this a special event. And I also wanted to thank CMI. Okay, the audio-visual, if you go to a conference and the audio-visual's not good, that can be a mess. These guys are my new best friends. I mean, in terms of if we do these events again, I know who I'm going to call because there's the professionalism, their willingness to work with us. They've even given us things for free because they believed in the vision, they saw it, and they want to be a part of it. And we really, really appreciate them. And thanks so much, CMI. And with that, I just want to say it's time for the networking session. We have one thing. We're going to do one more raffle. But after the raffle is done, the instructional part of the conference is concluded. Oh, by the way, did anybody lose a black key, a silver key? It's a key? It looks like one of these keys that actually was inside of like a mailer, but I don't know. Maybe it's a real key. Is this your key? Is this yours? Okay, I'm going to bring this to you. Hold on, sir. So here's your key. Wonderful. Okay, all right. That's what I thought. I think maybe it's a good luck charm. But yeah, I want to thank all of you for coming, and hopefully we'll get to see all of you again during the course of the year. And if not throughout the year, hopefully we'll see you all next year at BOSS 2014. Thanks.